Hi, I'm Catherine Johns from Linked Local Network. My guest is Dr. Linda Remensnyder from Hearing Associates. Now, she's based in Gurnee and Libertyville, and she is an authority on how to do business with people who don't hear you as well as you might like. So here's my question. It seems like there's two parts to this. There are the people who are, let's say, over 50, and according to you, their hearing is probably beginning to decline even though they don't know it yet. Listen to me saying they. All right, so our hearing is probably declining even though we don't know it yet or haven't acknowledged it. How can business people best serve people whose hearing is limited?
Well, I can tell you that it comes on so gradually that people don't recognize they're losing it. And they blame it on the speaker, they blame it on the environment, they blame it on them not paying attention, they blame it on the fact that people don't look at them when they talk to them. And so since they don't know it's happening, and since it comes so gradually, what we have to do is make it easy for people to hear.
So how do we go about doing that? And maybe to start with, how do we train frontline employees to deal with folks who aren't hearing as well?
The best thing a person can do, in this culture, we're talking much too fast. And especially if you're under the age of 30, you're talking way too fast. And as people get older, even if they don't have a significant hearing loss, they just can't follow rapid speech. And so the best thing that you can do is make sure that your employees speak slowly. And if they leave a message on an answering machine, they have to speak slowly. Then they also have to articulate. Years ago, we were taught how to enunciate, and we're not taught that anymore. And people are mumbling a lot more. They sometimes have gum in their mouth. Heaven forbid, their hand is in front of their mouth when they speak.
But people do that all the time, don't they? They talk and they're like this. It drives me crazy.
Well, as people start to just begin to lose their hearing, they compensate by lip reading and by watching people's gestures and by watching people's expressions. And so if you cover that up with a cigarette, a cigar, a handkerchief,
What about a mustache?
a mustache, all of a sudden it'll be much more difficult. And this is a non-discriminatory statement, but if you have people with accents, even a dialect will throw somebody off a little bit when they're starting to lose their hearing. And then keep the background noise down. It's best not to have any music on if you're trying to attract a baby boomer, because any kind of music is disruptive.
Now, right away I think about restaurants, a specific category of local business. They're as noisy as they could possibly be.
I think they need to re-examine who they're trying to attract. If they're trying to attract people with money, most people are baby boomers and older. And those baby boomers can't hear in background noise. And so if they put in high ceilings and hard floors and tables too close together and no drapes and no wallpaper, before you know it, these people are going to flock away from their restaurant, no matter how good the food is. Because people really want to be able to communicate when they eat, not just eat.
Now, one thing I learned from you that I didn't know before, a lot I learned from you, but here's one thing. For people with hearing aids, or do you say assistive devices?
No, I say hearing aids.
All right, perfect. So people with hearing aids, the hearing aid doesn't really help if people are far away. So if I'm talking to somebody at the other side of the room, their hearing aid is not doing any good. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a misconception, I think because of the way the advertising goes from unscrupulous vendors out there perhaps, where they're not really letting on the fact that hearing aids have microphones. And so most of our hearing aids have 2 microphones each side, and microphones are microphones are microphones. They only pick up what's closest, they only pick up what's loudest. And so if somebody's wearing a hearing aid, reduce the distance between yourself and that person. And even if the person seems to be struggling, and you can tell when they sort of tilt their head or squint a little bit, reduce the distance. Speak slowly, articulate well, and then make sure you pull them into the topic of the conversation.
All right, one last tip. So what would be the number one thing we should do to be comfortably doing business with people who have hearing loss?
Slow down, and then whenever you have a large gathering, never ever forget to use a microphone.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much.
Linda Remensnyder, Hearing Associates in Gurnee and Libertyville, and I'm Catherine Johns from Linked Local Network. Link locally, connect globally.